Smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. Come on, girl.
We are here with a special guest, Luke Bracey. Welcome to the show. Right now, he's in Australia. He's gotten up early for us. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
How beautiful is it in Australia? We've never been. We obviously know that you're Australian, so just tell us kind of what are you looking out at right now? Is it something beautiful? We just assume that it's always like an ocean, a beach.
We'll close our eyes and imagine it, and you just paint the picture for us.
I mean, I could show you. It's pretty nice.
Of course it is.
Straight at the beach. It's real quite beautiful. And the sun is just kind of, because I'm on the east coast of Australia, so the sun just kind of rises right kind of onto my bed, and it's really, really, it's a lovely way to wake up.
It's okay. You could brag. You could brag. Yeah. We'll live through you.
I got a nice concrete wall in front of me.
No, it's probably one of the things that as Australians that we're kind of most proud about being Australians. It's like, oh, we're from a beautiful place. I think that's where like our type of patriotism comes from. It's like, oh wow, aren't we lucky? You know, that's the kind of attitude in Australia. So no, it's really nice to be home. Actually, this year has been the longest time I've spent in Australia for about 10 years, and I got to spend months and months with my family, my mother and father, and my sisters and my nieces and nephews, which I haven't been able to do for a decade. So there's been weird blessing between this year and for me. So yeah, I feel really fortunate actually.
That sounds beautiful. And it's kind of like finding that middle ground, because obviously there's so much going on in the world, but the fact that you were able to be home, spend time with your family, like you said, in the beautiful place of Australia, obviously very different from where we are in New York right now. But how has the past few months been? I know you said you've been in Australia, but I kind of want to know the difference between Australia right now and the US.
Well, I can't speak for the US because I haven't been there since like just before Christmas. But look, we've been very fortunate with how the years panned out. I think we've had obviously there's been some kind of bad moments, like Melbourne and Victoria have had a tough couple of months. They've been in a bit of a lockdown. They had a bit of a resurgence of it all. And I got some friends down there, so they've been doing it a bit tough. But to tell you the truth, the rest of Australia, I think we've managed to handle it really, really well. People have been responsible, and it's been. I just feel very lucky to be here. It's been one of those moments where, wow, like an island at the end of the world is kind of handy sometimes.
Definitely is, because there's really no reason to come back to the U.S. anytime soon.
I've got so many friends and over there, so I'm always like.
You'll see him eventually.
Yeah, I'm trying to convince him to come down here.
Yeah, that's probably the best bet. Well, we're very happy that, you have this beautiful view. You've been in Australia, you've been home, but we are here to talk to you about Holidate, which is a new movie on Netflix. It's coming out on October 28th. It looks super cute. I've watched the trailer many times now. I absolutely adore Emma Roberts. Tell us a little bit about the movie and your role in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cut and dry rom-com, and how fun are they?
Love them. It's our favorite genre.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, anyone tells you they don't love a rom-com, they're lying to you, and you should never trust what they say ever again.
Absolutely.
Rom-coms are fun, and I'd never really done one before, so it was just this opportunity came up, and trying to make a comedy. I've never really done that, so it was terrifying. And I'm just really glad that John, the director, gave me the opportunity, and I got to have fun. Like Emma and I just laughed like all day for a couple of months, and it was just a great, great time. And then even this year, it's kind of like the perfect movie for this year. I think it's kind of pure escapism that way, and I just think they're really fun. But yeah, working with Emma was amazing. We got along like a house on fire. Like the moment we met, it was like meeting an old friend. So that makes life and work so much easier. I mean, you guys are friends and you guys work together, and it just makes life so much easier when you're working with someone that like seems like an old friend. And yeah, so it's a unapologetic rom-com, and that's maybe just what we need right now.
Absolutely. And I feel like you said, it's what we need. It's around the holidays. It makes people who can't be with friends or family feel like they're watching their friends and family on the screen, especially a rom-com. It's a cozy feeling. And you mentioned that you haven't really done this before, a rom-com or even comedy that much, right? What is the difference for you, would you say? Because I feel like talking to actors who do comedy versus drama, comedy's a little bit harder, maybe?
Yeah, more terrifying, I found. Like, be funny.
It's a lot of pressure to be funny.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're like, oh, am I funny? I don't think I'm funny. But no, so that was it. But I think, it's like anything with acting and telling stories. There's this kind of, there's a couple of things that you need to hit, and comedy comes from drama, without like that, like comedy is like that release of tension, of like a build up of a moment, and either you can cry at the end of that moment or you can laugh at the end of that moment. So, if you have those kind of base kind of ideas and framework to go by, it's the same, but just you get to laugh all day instead of like cry, and that's fun.
Yeah, definitely. Can you explain what exactly a holidate is?
I can try.
Yeah.
No, a holiday, like the idea of the movie is that, Emma's character and my character, we've had these pretty awful kind of Christmases, and we run into each other kind of returning some gifts. And we spark up this idea that I think comes from Kristen Chenoweth's character, who plays Emma's auntie, that, being both single, it's this like ridiculous pressure that comes on you to have someone next to you at these like holiday events, even though it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, you have to have a romantic partner at this thing. And so we just come up with the idea that we could just be each other's mates, like holidates, like so we can go to these things so that no one's judging you. You're there with someone. And so there's, the questions you can just ignore, but like, at least you've brought someone and you're not alone. And that's just to kind of get rid of that whole awkward scenario with your family and friends about why you're so lonely. So that's the kind of idea of the holiday, and then in true rom-com fashion, you can imagine how it pans out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something cheesy. If this was an Australian movie, would it be called Holidate?
I reckon that should be the name of the sequel.
I don't know, it just popped in my head. You said mates.
Absolutely. I love it. That's the sequel right there.
Yeah, well, Fran and I love a will they, won't they story. And I feel like this is that type of movie, especially on Netflix. Has it been a dream of yours to just be in a Netflix movie? Because I feel like they're releasing so much. And as an actor, I feel like if I was an actor, one of my goals would be like, I need to get into Netflix.
Yeah, there is like, just in terms of the scope, the availability of a film by Netflix, like it's kind of democratized the movie going experience and the movie seeing experience in a way. It's given people an ability to just an ease of access to content. And I think Netflix do great work. They've got something for everyone. And that's a lovely thing as well. And that's something I want to do in my work as an actor. I want to try and make a bunch of different types of movies for a bunch of different types of people, because I love different types of movies and I always am in a different type of mood. And so Netflix are kind of really dominating this rom-com kind of world. And when you work, you want to work with the best. And I feel really lucky that I got to work with Netflix, and then obviously Emma and everyone else that's involved in the movie, because if you're going to do one, I think this is the perfect place to do it.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's great to have easy access to movies right now. And Netflix gives us that. I'm curious how you got into acting in the first place, because the first thing that I watched you in was The Best of Me, because I've read every Nicholas Sparks movie.
I thought you were going to say Monte Carlo.
Oh no, this was the first thing I've seen.
That's a J.
But I know you were acting before that, is what I was gonna say as well. So I would love to know kind of how you got into the acting game to begin with.
Well, yeah, I mean, I never ever wanted to be an actor or planned on being an actor ever in my life. I think if you kind of like growing up on the northern beaches of Sydney and think that you're going to be making movies in Hollywood, you probably have some seriously deluded dreams of grandeur. So that wasn't my plan at all. I wanted to play. I wanted to hopefully be a professional rugby player. Like rugby league or rugby union, and I was going to probably be a builder, go to university, and my dad's a builder, and I would have kind of probably moved into the family business. But then I finished school, and just outside of school, a guy who I played rugby with and went to school with, his father was is a TV producer here, and asked me to audition for a show in Australia. I thought I did, and then I didn't get that job. But then months later, the casting agent kind of called me back and asked me to audition for this really long-running soap opera in Australia called Home and Away. And I just thought, oh, yeah, okay. And I went to the audition, and then at 8 o'clock the next morning, they said I got the job. And I was like, oh, okay, I better call my dad and tell him I'm not working for him for the next 6 months. And so just, suddenly I was on Home and Away, and it was awesome. I remember day one, I was just terrified. And then day two, I kind of understood it a bit more. And then day three, I remembered I was getting paid. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is fun. I didn't even do this. And so I just kept doing it with a bit of naivety. I thought, oh, this will be fine. And knock on wood, it's been kind of fine. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I did 6 months on that show, and then just kind of was out of work for maybe 6 months. So I'd saved all my money from it, like a good boy, so I didn't have to get a real job. And then I just got Monte Carlo, and then suddenly I was making movies. And then the next thing I knew, I lived in America, and kind of every year from then on, I've just been able to make a movie or a couple and kind of just go rung up the ladder. I'm really fortunate. I think, the fact that I was really naive to it all and was kind of free and open to it really helped me. I was really lucky, I think, because it was never like my dream, like the be all and end all. So everything I did was a bonus, and I just was like, oh wow, I get to do that. And then just learning more about it and being, I don't know, like knowing that I don't know anything about it has kind of helped me. Like I'm like, oh, I could probably listen to this person. They could probably tell me a lot about it. So I've been able to learn and just kind of move on every year. So that's the kind of basic rundown of it. And I feel a little bad sometimes because I know how many people are like, oh my God, the luckiest guy. And I do feel it. I really do.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, obviously you are so talented and you deserve these movies and the TV shows that you've done, but it's also a type of thing where it's like it fell onto your lap, but in the best way possible, because you wouldn't have gotten it if you weren't made to do it. You know what I mean? It's like it needed to be in front of your face for you to know, like, I should be an actor.
Yeah. I mean, once I started, I really understood. I was like, oh, this is what I should do. I enjoyed this much more than I enjoyed, being a builder. And it's just, I feel fortunate that way because, as I said, like I've just been able to learn so much. I haven't had this like, this is how I'm going to do it and this is what is going to happen. It's been more say yes and don't screw up. So that's kind of like the philosophy I've taken is, I've been very, very fortunate, but I have made sure that when that opportunity's come my way, I've tried not to waste it. And they say like luck is like opportunity and preparation meeting. You can have all the opportunity in the world, but if you're not prepared for it, then it's kind of useless. And you really consider yourself lucky. So I guess that's where it's come from that way. I feel like I have been really fortunate. But yeah, thank you for saying that. It's like I think I would have been found out by now. It's been maybe 10 years and people keep paying me to do this, so I must be like doing all right. It's kind of how I feel, but there's still always that innate kind of, like anyone's job, like that innate kind of self-doubt, and like we all have that. And I think it's a positive thing because it makes me really cross my T's and dot my I's and like not rest on my laurels. I'm constantly knowing how much better I've got to get and how much further I've got to go. But yeah, I'm certainly surprised every time someone gives me a job.
I mean, and like you said, you're absorbing from the people you're working with, and as you've been doing it, you have been getting more and more amazing roles and working with amazing people. Like, you know, we all watched you in Little Fires Everywhere, which was so huge and everybody loved. And that's Reese Witherspoon. That's as good as it gets.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that working with Reese, you know, I'm on set and then I'm something like, she's got an Oscar. I'm acting with that person. They're very good at acting. I'm not so good at acting. I should probably try and be better at acting. And that's kind of like, you know, it's like when you play a sport, you know, I do liken the acting thing to a sport of some degree. It's like, you know, whenever you're playing a sport or an activity with someone who's very good, that elevates you and it makes you play better. And that's kind of what I've really been fortunate as you say, like I got to work with, you know, Vince Vaughn and Andrew Garfield. Mel Gibson directed me in Hacksaw Ridge, and I got to work with Pierce Brosnan and someone like Ray Winstone. And so it's just this idea of like, if I can just surround myself with people that know what they're doing and that are really good, maybe, you know, I won't be noticed so much, but also like I've been able to learn so much from these people. And yeah, working with Reese was amazing. That was such a great show. It became really popular. Good. And yeah, I was really proud of how that turned out. And it all just kind of, it just kind of fell into place, you know, like how it kind of has. As I said, like this opportunity came and I thought, wow, yeah, what a great opportunity to work with someone who's one of the best in the world at this. And I'm lucky that I didn't make so much of a fool of myself.
She's one of those people that seems like so mega famous, but also is very like much a cool person to be around and a regular person. Can you verify that my opinion of Reese Witherspoon? Yeah,
look, I had an awesome time working with Reese. She is like that. You kind of hit the nail on the head there, where it's like this person is like one of the biggest actresses in the world and has been for like a long time. And we've all seen all her movies. And but then she just like, you know, like a regular person, had great chat and, you know, fun and you know, human. I think that's what you kind of want to, when you meet people and, you know, you've met people through your job and you just want to see that they're human, you know.
Exactly.
They kind of exist and you know, I've been really fortunate through pretty much every job I've done. Everyone I've worked with has been pretty awesome. Just regular, everyone just kind of, how lucky are we? This is great. Who would have another job than this? And that's really refreshing, especially when you're working with people that have been doing it for a while. To like see their passion still there, and there's, you know, they're not so jaded, and it's just more like, wow, how lucky are we? And I love that attitude because I feel like that every day I go to work, no matter what I'm doing at work, even the tough days where you know, you might be covered in mud crawling around on the ground for 12 hours. You're just still like, wow. I mean, remember when you were a kid and you played Army Men? Guess what?
You're living it. Yeah. And I feel like it's a great example to see somebody like, for example, Reese Witherspoon or the other actors that you've worked with that have been doing it for so long still have that passion, because it shows you that you're not going to get tired of it. You're only going to get better. You're going to want to do more, stay passionate. And you mentioned all these great people that you're working with and learning from and working with them in a movie. But how about now being in a movie about somebody like that, the Elvis biopic you are a part of, which we are so excited for. We've been waiting. Obviously, it's going to be a while before it comes out, but you guys resumed filming, right?
Yeah, so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. I have work after this interview. I could get and have a shave and go to work. But I'm actually Warner Brothers will probably string me up and kill me if I say anything. I can't say anything about it, but I can say that it's really, really exciting. Like it truly is. It's Baz Luhrmann making the Elvis film, and Tom Hanks is in it, and Austin Butler's playing Elvis, and it's epic. You know, it's an epic movie, and yeah, it's just that next rung up. I didn't even think I'd be doing that this year. You know, like it kind of it all came about in a really organic way, and to be a part of that, it's as you say, like just to work with the kind of best in the business is what's the best bit about my job, and how I think I'm going to move forward in my career is that being around the people that have got the runs on the board and that you can learn from, Baz is an absolute genius, and we all know his work. Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks. And so, yeah, it's been very exciting, and I'm worried I'm going to say something and get in a heap.
No,
of trouble from
we can.
We will stop you there. It's exciting.
But it's so exciting. It's so exciting, truly.
Yeah, that is. Listen, we have just been so excited because we love Austin Butler as well, and I feel like it's also about networking with the industry that you're in. Like, you know, as much as working with the actors and learning from them, it's also getting to know these people and getting to know the directors and the producers and the writers that will maybe cast you in something later on.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's obviously such a global, huge industry that everyone sees, but it is strangely small. And it is like a small town kind of industry where, you know, like I know plenty of people that have worked with all these people, and, you know, oh, I know so-and-so, and they worked with you on that. Like, oh, they're great. And da-da-da. So, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, it's about kind of, as you say, networking in a way, but I think the networking that I do is mainly like, hey, rock up to work on time, know your lines, be a nice guy, and try not to screw up. And, you know, that takes you as far as anything as well. I think, you know, it's kind of any job in that sense where, word travels if you're good and word travels if you're bad. And I think in this day and age, which I really enjoy and I think is a positive thing, there's not so much time and space and money for people that are hard work, you know, the people that are pains. It's just who wants to be around that, you know, and it's just, I think that's one of the things about networking in this business. It's like, no, they're a nice person and they're great to spend, because we spend so much time making these movies. It's like, no, they're a cool person to spend 14 hours a day with for 6 months. You know, I think that's like part of the job, is the job description as well. It's like, oh, can I handle this person for this amount of time? But yeah, as I said, throughout my career, I've been so fortunate. I don't think I've had a really bad experience at all. Most every person I've worked with has been awesome, has been really great. And that's a big part of it, I think, because another thing, we're acting, we're having fun. Like, even if we're making a heavy movie, you still got to have like a pulse behind it and some life. And you know, that's such a big part of it, is like, come on, can we be humans? Like, that's all we're trying to do. So when you've got humans around you, it makes it easier.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're so incredibly excited because everybody in the world has been following along with was going to happen with this Elvis biopic, obviously, from as soon as it was announced that it was happening. So we're excited that it started up again, that you're on set. What does Luke do on his downtime? Like, how do you how do you chill? Like, I know obviously you said you've been home with your family during these past few months and haven't been working, but when you get like the times to chill, like what's your downtime like?
I grew up on the beach, so I love to surf.
I was going to say, this is going to be a very typical Australian answer. I was gonna say.
like there's such
surf.
I'm a huge, like, I'm a walking stereotype sometimes. But no, I grew up like right on the beach in the same suburb my father grew up in, and you know, it's the best playground. It's like this huge, giant playground with rides on it that are these waves. So it's really kept me out of trouble as a kid. And then I played a lot of rugby growing up. And right now it's just about finding that time and you know, finding those moments to yourself. But this year has been really beautiful to kind of stay at home and play backgammon or a game of cards with my parents, and like go around to my sister's place and hang out with my nieces and nephews, and you know, play Beyblades with my nephew, and you know, like do drawings with my niece. It's been really, really lovely that way. But yeah, my downtime, if I can get to the ocean, I'll be really happy. And then there's also times where I just want to sit and watch the rugby league on the TV, or like watch some sport or some cricket. Especially when I'm filming. At the moment, it becomes really all encompassing. You know, my Mondays to Fridays are a wash. And then even, you know, if I have to do some stuff like promotional stuff that I'm doing at the moment, like a few hours on my Sunday as well. Yeah. So it's like when you're working, it's very intense. But those moments when I can have a time away from work, I do like to by Friday, I'm like, I just really want to go to a nice Italian restaurant and have like a huge bowl of pasta and a couple of glasses of red wine. And maybe a few more afterwards, and then like wake up feeling a little sorry for myself in the morning. And then I'll just go lie on the beach for like a few hours. So that's like, when you're working, that's the kind of the realm you're living in. But then it's been funny, like,
it's ideal, honestly.
It's really quite lovely. And I feel like I'm earning that kind of pasta meal at the end of the night. But through the whole like crazy year that we've had, it's been kind of funny because I felt like everyone in the world was maybe suddenly in the position I've been in for 10 years. Oh, you don't know when you're going to work again? Oh, you got to like figure out what you want to do today and like fill it constructively. It's like, I sat back and went, hold on a second. Have I been training for this for 10 years? Because it was kind of like what my life is when I don't have a job. It's like how I've got to find my own structure, do some productive things. I still think I'm never going to work again anyway. So, like this year has been strange that way because it wasn't so different to when I'm not working. It was just maybe a longer period of it with a bit more uncertainty. Not so much like self-applied kind of doubts. But yeah, so that's kind of, my off time is trying to fill it with productive things because there are moments when I can be like super lazy and just lounge. And then I feel, a little guilty and you get up and do some things, but just like anyone, I just like, there's some days where I'm just like, I ain't getting up.
Yeah.
There is no reason to get up if you don't have to sometimes. You just got to lay down all day.
Yeah. And it's way easier when you live in an apartment in Manhattan and sometimes you don't even know, like you can't even tell if it's raining outside or not. Like you're just.
If I was in Australia, I would just go and sleep on the beach. I hope that you do that.
I've done it a few times. Maybe not out here at the moment. It's a bit busy where I am. But maybe I'll.
I'm sure you can find your spots.
If I get some time off work, I might go for a drive kind of up the coast and try and find somewhere to go and camp or something like that. Actually, that's actually one thing I'm probably doing a couple of weeks when I have some time off.
That sounds
amazing. Like camping trip, beautiful. Like by myself as well, which I'm going to really enjoy. I think like I'm going to try and borrow a tent and go somewhere like remote and kind of like sit by myself for a bit. I don't know, read a book.
It's lovely. It's relaxing.
Unplug.
Sometimes you need that when you're surrounded, especially in the job you do, surrounded by people all day long, every single day. Everyone's connected. For yourself. Yeah.
And I think it's a connected thing as well. It's been such a funny year, where our lives were already kind of right on our hand computers and our real computers and stuff like that. That even in a year like this, it's kind of maybe another bigger reason to unplug a bit more. Because it's been all about it. That's been our only connection to the outside world and to friends and family and all those things. So I think I wouldn't mind just going. I mean, I'm not like, it sounds like I'm addicted. I'm just like an 85-year-old man who doesn't know how to use technology. The fact that we got this Zoom link working is a miracle. But just even for me, it's been a bit much. And I don't really deal with it so much. I don't have I don't engage in the social media thing, and I never have. But even for me, it's been like, I just want to kind of throw it down and go and just get some silence, get away from these like kind of screen things.
Right. Especially when you're surrounded by such a beautiful place and you're staring at one thing. It's like, what am I doing? This isn't the real life. This isn't real world. So it makes sense. But the one time we will be staring at a screen is when Holidate comes out October 28th on Netflix. Bring it back around.
Yep.
Well done.
Thank you, Luke, so much for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your day, a great time filming. Hope you get that relaxation in. And everyone check out Holidate October 28th.
Hey, thank you very much, guys. What a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Luke.
Bye.
All right, that wraps up today's episode